So it's finally here. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is arrived. It is in our hands, and we are finally able to play it. Now, if you know anything about the game, you know that it's one of the most hyped video games this year. And it's Naughty Dog's sequel to the very popular Uncharted Drake's Fortune. So if you've never played the original Uncharted, and you haven't really followed the news around Uncharted 2, the question you're probably asking is it really what it's hyped to be? Is it really one of the best PS3 games ever made? Well, try one of the best video games ever made, period.
You gotta be out of your mind.
So you will be returning as Nathan Drake, who's on the verge of uncovering the mystery of Marco Polo's doomed voyage from the palace of Kublai Khan. Now, Nathan's research will lead him in the direction of the, I should know how to pronounce this by now, Chintamani stone, which is a fabled ancient relic that is worth hundreds of millions if ever discovered.
In the kingdom of Shambhala lies the most precious thing to be found in all the world. A perfect raw sapphire of the deepest blue, larger around than the reach of a man's arms.
Ooh, that's gotta be worth millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Unfortunately, Drake's enemies are aware of the existence of the stone as well, and they've already got a head start on finding it. So Drake has to pull all of his resources to try and outrun the bad guys, find the stone, and make the score of a century. And that's the plotline in a nutshell. Platforming is some of the best that I have ever played in this game. The obstacles you'll be platforming are unique, interactive, and fluid. When you are platforming a map, there are going to be a number of instances where the map will interact with you. And what I mean by this is, like, when you jump from one ledge to another, for example, instead of just jumping across it, the other bridge will collapse and you'll fall through and enter into a totally different area of the map. It's these little instances that make the maps interesting and dynamic and fresh. It's just a really unique way to go about platforming in a game, and I love it. Another great aspect of the game is the environments. The environments in Uncharted 2 are simply mind-blowing. They rival any big-budget location for a film, and you'll often find yourself just stopping in a map just to look at the landscapes and how meticulously they're crafted. Another great aspect of the game is combat. On Nathan's journey, he will run into more and more of his enemies, and they are armed to the teeth. And when you start out, you'll have your basic weapons in the game, but as you progress, you'll get more high-end military-grade style weapons. Your enemies in Uncharted 2 have pretty good AI. They're realistic, intelligent. During firefights, they'll take cover. They'll often try to flank you or throw grenades to flush you out. It adds a real challenge to combat. Stealth is another great aspect of combat in Uncharted 2. It's much more polished in this game, and it's really enjoyable. There's a number of instances in the game where there are action sequences that rather than watch them, you can actually play right through. And while you're playing them, the controls are so flawless and fluid that you're actually asking yourself, am I really playing this? And the last thing about this game that I absolutely loved was the story.
they lead somewhere.
It's a story that draws you in, that's absorbing, and it's for that reason that Uncharted 2 is one of the few games where you actually enjoy watching cutscenes, and you almost look forward to them while you're playing.
This moves a little. Sully, help me out.
Here we go again with the pushing. I think I hurt myself.
Now, one of the very few gripes I have is the first map of the game. Using your stealth on this map is kind of tricky, and trying to find the path that you have to platform through this map is a bit tough. Now, it's not terrible, and it doesn't indicate the rest of your experience for Uncharted 2 because it's flawless, but it can be a little frustrating. Well, maybe really frustrating.
That was unpleasant.
A whole lot of love went into the development of this game, and that's made clear through the gorgeous environments, the vibrant storytelling, and the flawless gameplay. Uncharted 2 is a game that is as absorbing as any big budget film and may possibly be the most enjoyable adventure game I've ever played. This game will meet every expectation you could ever have for it. And not only does it live up to the standard of the action-adventure genre video games, it exceeds them. So if you're wondering, yes, I want to marry this game, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves gets 5 out of 5 stars. Booyah.
I hate it when you do that.
Check this out. You see this symbol?
Yeah.
Look up there.
Okay, I see the resemblance, so what does it mean?
It means we know how Marco Polo found his next clue.